Hello and welcome back to the UTEP Dynasty here, as we'll go ahead and do the off-season recap, starting with firing our coordinators. Now I know it's been a little bit of a wait between these episodes, and the start of Season 2 will be a little bit delayed, but really excited to get this next year underway as we find out. Here in the Conference USA, we had Jacksonville State and Liberty playing each other. Of course, Liberty only one loss on the year, us being that one loss. Naturally, of course, how that goes down, we beat the best team in the league. And we get Jesse Lombardo from Scottsdale, Arizona, an edge rusher. So pretty exciting here. We've got some young defensive talent to replace what we'll probably be losing in the offseason. Unfortunately, Escobar and Mendez go elsewhere. Clay Kubnik wins the Heisman for Clemson, 42 touchdowns, 4,500 yards. Incredible stuff there. And then the awards for this year. Udoka Ezeani actually made a lot of these lists as a top 10 finalist here. So top 6 there. And then for the Nagurski, top 5 as the Sam linebacker. Of course, his deal breaker, meaning he likely will not stay. Also top 5 for the Dick Butkus. And then the Jet Award, Jaden Smith even got top 12 on this one. So some really good praise here for UTEP players. Of course, Ezeani making national second team All-American. Really awesome stuff there. And then All-American freshman team, Elijah Baldwin, who also has a deal breaker. We'll see if we can keep on to him. Ivan Escobar makes the first team Conference USA. Baldwin, Gustafson was incredible for us down the stretch. Ezeani, Neil Campbell, Jalen Shelton, and Solo Barnes. And then on the second team, Hasham Wilson, Azizi Henry, Jaden Wilson, Lance Russell, and Xavier Smith, who surprisingly didn't make a higher list than this. Of course, a lot of these players will be leaving. So now we got to hire coaches, and I like John David Baker. He has a pipeline in North Texas, and he was a recruiting offensive coordinator. I thought that was something that could maybe help us. We, of course, were letting one go that was kind of similar, but I just wanted a fresh start here. And then Vi Mapu has a pipeline in SoCal, which actually I thought could be pretty useful for us as well, being in El Paso. So that will be what we send out offer-wise, and John David Baker and Vi Mapu accept their positions, and so we have new coordinators for Season 2. Hopefully, our team is improved. I'm really excited to see what I can do with some of these new recruiting abilities. Of course, we have to also hope that our team prestige doesn't go down, because that will hamper our ability to recruit still. So it's kind of a trade-off here. Of course, at 5 and 7, we should go up a little bit. Here is the playoff bracket. As you see, Southern Miss actually was the group of 5 team that made it this year. And Texas and Miami making it all the way to the finals, where Texas upsets Miami, takes the national championship. I have some upgrades here for Atari Mason. We'll go ahead and finalize here our quarterback tree. Really not a tough one there for me to figure out. And then pass blocking, O-lineman. Yeah, we'll go ahead and put a point into that as well. Eventually, I want to max out the O-lineman as well, and then the wide receivers. It's just the way I want to build the team. Here are the transfers. Xavier Smith leaving. No chance to convince him. Malachi Nelson, no chance. Skylar Locklear, no chance. Jaden Wilson, also no chance. How about Ashton Emery, who was really good in relief of Hasham Wilson? None. We have literally 0 precision chance on any of these players. Playing style, pro potentials, championship contenders, all of them, we have no options. Azimwa will be leaving. Matamoros, Cheeks, Smith, and Hawkins, all very low to extremely low here. So not even going to waste my persuasions on them. Low, low, very low. Of course, I accidentally wasted my 2 persuasions here. I don't show that, but I didn't get anybody to return. So that means we need to go to the transfer portal, and Marcos Davila from Midland, Texas, definitely someone I want to look into here. 3-star transfer freshman. And then how about true freshman Onaje Tinker? He is a gem. I really like what I see here. He is a gadget player, so it could be interesting to see what we can do with him in certain packages if we bring him in. And then some more transfers here that I thought would be pretty solid. Tyrone Lehman, the cornerback commits. I was really excited about him, the JUCO 2-star player. We have him on our team now. And let's go ahead and sim to the next week of recruiting here. As we find out, we have some players visiting. It was a little tough in the offseason. I did lose out on a few battles I really wanted. It's definitely tricky. My first year recruiting with this team. But we'll go ahead and simulate to the final week here and see who we actually can pull in. Now, I haven't shown a lot of the recruits I had on the board, so this will be a bit surprising. But let's start off with Brian Bodie, 3-star wide receiver, and get ready for a lot of those. We brought in so many wide receivers. Adrian Haywood out of Mesa, Arizona, 3-star wide receiver. How about Farouk Ayodele from Bellflower, California, 3-star. David Rosas from Houston, Texas, 3-star wide receiver, you betcha. How about another one? Dennis Sorensen out of Lubbock, Texas. So we're recruiting out of Tech now, preventing them from getting him. Right guard Kevin Valenzuela from Southlake, Texas, coming to El Paso. And then Ricky Slade out of Newton, Texas, the will linebacker. So we get some 3-star edges and linebackers in this class. Evan Hare, another will linebacker out of Scottsdale, Arizona. 3-star right tackle Juan Mendoza out of Millville, Utah. Actually going to the four corners here, Atari Mason's old stomping grounds. Trey Charlton, homegrown talent out of El Paso, Texas. Really excited about that. Mafu Fuene, the running back out of Gilbert, Arizona, will come here as well. And then Alex Marrero, the Mike linebacker. We can only assume related some way to Manuel Marrero, the quarterback out of El Paso. Morgan Highsmith, wide receiver out of La Mesa, California, 3-star again. And then kicker Eric Jovanovits out of Queen Creek, Arizona. And they're not done. 3-star running back Damon Tobias out of Grand Rapids, Michigan. We bring him in. Really exciting stuff here. How about Kiki Harjulahu out of Gilbert, Arizona? Really challenging myself with some of these names. 1-star cornerback, not sure he'll make much of an impact. 1-star center Tevon Bada, we just need some depth here for this team, so we get them. And then another 1-star center, Marco Pinn out of Tomball, Texas. And we should have yet another 1-star here in Barry Callis out of Manor, Texas. Joseph Bay, the free safety. So now we're getting some transfers out of San Jose, California. He commits. James Nicholson, 2-star running back out of San Antonio, Texas, commits to our team. Furthermore, Marcos Davila out of Midland, Texas, 3-star transfer here. Really excited to see what he can do for this team, as he has a good chance to start year 1. Playing time is his #1 deal breaker, so he should have that satisfied. Left tackle Kingsley Adams out of Norman, Oklahoma, commits. Deacon Rawls, I mean, we had so many commitments at this stage. It was kind of crazy how many players came in, especially all the wide receivers. And then even quarterback Antoine Pike, who I'd been recruiting out of Chandler, Arizona, the pure runner, commits. He was the one along with Manuel Marrero we were trying to bring in. Alani Armour out of Mesa, Arizona, another will linebacker, as we really are bolstering this second level and the defensive line here at UTEP if we can. Onaje Tinker, the gadget player out of DeSoto, Texas. Lots of speed, lots of skills. We'll see what we can do with him on the field. And that completes our recruiting class for this year. A lot of 3-star players. Insane how many we were able to pull in. And we'll see how many we can keep this year going into the next season. Of course, I do have it set to a limit of 20 transfer spots available, as we lose out on Henry Davis III, unfortunately, signs with Arizona State. And I do have, I think, around 50 transfer chance. We finished with the 50th ranked recruiting class with 22 3-stars, 7 2-stars, and 4 1-stars. And I think that's pretty good company to be in. We didn't get any 4-stars. We didn't go for any 4-stars. But I think having 22 3-stars is definitely a big deal that puts us up there with teams like Duke, quite frankly, where we just don't have the 1 4-star. Of course, now we have to look at position changes and training results, and Marcos Davila, I didn't actually end up making any training or position changes. We're going to give him lots of upgrades here, as he has around 40 points to spend. We're going to bump his accuracies up some. IQ, definitely want to get that up, as I think not only the awareness will help on the road when we have the crowd really loud, but the play action is something I want to run a little more of this season, so we'll bump that up. Even we'll give him a point into quickness here to get his speed up, although it didn't do very much, unfortunately. He has really high skill caps though, so in theory I think he could be a 90+ overall quarterback by the time of his senior season, which he should reach unless we have somebody better come in the transfer portal. I just don't see that happening, to be quite honest, as he reaches an 80 overall here in training. The rest of the training I will do off camera and show. So here is Lance Barnes, who gets some big ups to his agility and change of direction. Our fullback, and then our receiving core. So Kenny Odom gets 1 more to his speed. A lot of speed gained across the board for these players. Definitely was one of my big focuses, was just getting my wide receivers to be faster. I think we lost a lot of speed in the transfer portal and graduation this year. Offensive line actually gets some pretty decent bumps up here. Definitely giving as much as I can to the just pass blocking in general, as we'll be running the air raid, and then IQ. We have our edge rushing going up considerably this year. Mike linebacker really was focusing on awareness and play recognition for them, as I want them to be. Our signal callers obviously on our defense. And then will linebackers, obviously I want them to be more pass coverage heavy. So I did a lot of zone coverage bumps for these guys and got them up to pretty respectable points. I think we'll be able to run more zone blitzes this year and have more success. It's just a question of how much can our pass rush do. On defense, a lot up to our zone coverage here. Dante Thompson up to an 80 overall zone coverage, that's not bad. Just lacking speed now. How about 22 awareness and play rec and 22 zone coverage for Grant Stewart? He's now a 78 overall free safety. I think he's a perfect captain of the secondary. Our strong safeties I want to be more of in the box players, and I did give them some pretty general bumps across the board. And then our punter even goes up to 91 kick power, 84 kick accuracy. Here are some changes I made to custom conferences. Basically, I wanted a Conference USA that was made up of all Texas teams and New Mexico State. How do you think I did? We have pretty much all the leftover Texas teams now in the Conference USA. I've even moved UConn to the MAC out of Independent. I just thought that made sense for them. Still nothing in the Pac-12 yet. And the Sun Belt I was able to keep full here. Moved over some teams. So that is where we basically end off on this video. As you see the final schedule here, we will be taking on Texas Tech this year. Really excited to see what we can do. A lot of these teams lower overall as we stay 64 overall and we actually go down to a half star, essentially a 0-star program. But thank you so much for watching season 1, everyone. I'm going to have less recruiting hours this week, or this year, with being a 0-star program. It's going to be interesting, a big challenge. We'll see what we can do, and then might have to look a lot to the transfer portal. But go ahead and leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you next time. Have a great rest of your day. Starting soon, Season 2 UTEP Dynasty.